The carnivore diet. Should you do it? Have you heard of it?
The amazing transformations in both health and weight loss people experience when they give it a try. This video is going to help you understand every facet of a carnivore diet.
This is just some of the tips and tricks for friends or people trying to start carnivore. It's quite simple.
You need to transition slowly over weeks, maybe even a little longer.
Most of the issues that people experience during their transition or a little bit down the line, even months down the line, can be avoided by transitioning slowly. 6 to 8 weeks is a really good transition period. People that can't really moderate, jump in overnight, I understand, but you may have certain problems like cramps and diarrhea, etc.
You are to eat as our ancestors did.
You are a Paleolithic being where you ate mostly meat and drank lots of water.
Our body is designed to eat fat and protein. That's what it's evolved to do.
The two essential macronutrients. There are no essential carbs. That includes the indigestible carbohydrates being fiber.
No plants, no sugar, nothing artificial. That goes for sauces, seasonings, and drinks as well.
There's really not anything in the plant world that isn't available in the animal-sourced nutrition.
Well, there is. It's just all the stuff we don't want. So indigestible fiber, sugars, anti-nutrients, toxins.
Try to focus on ruminant animals as the majority of your meat intake. Cows, sheep, goats, venison. When you're hungry, you sit down and you eat until you're comfortably stuffed.
Eat it until it doesn't really taste good anymore. Then just stop. And then enjoy the rest of your day. This is going to save you huge amounts of time. You're eating meat and drinking water, and that's it.
Yeah, for busy people that just want to crack on with their work, etc., this is definitely the best way to go. I know people that just do one meal a day, throw a load of ground beef in a pan, and job's a good one. They can get on with the rest of their life, so they're not constantly cooking, prepping, cleaning, and all this kind of stuff.
There is no calorie counting, there is no portion control, and there's going to be no snacking in between.
There's no calorie counting because there are no calories in food to count.
And indeed, there shouldn't be any snacking.
Metabolize gently the protein and the fat and absorb it without getting these huge glucose spikes, which cause the insulin, which causes the obesity and the diabetes.
And glycation and tooth decay.
If you're not eating carbohydrates, you can actually listen to your hunger signals. It's the carbohydrates that rearrange your hormonal signaling panels to make you think you're hungry when you're not.
100%. If you think about eating a load of fatty red meat or just something savoury, you're full. Can't eat anymore, right? Anyone want dessert? Oh, I'll have dessert. There's always room for dessert, isn't there? There's almost no limit. You can actually make yourself sick. Kids do it all the time.
If you need a calculator to figure out what to eat, you're eating the wrong thing, okay? Because nature is natural. It just happens. It just happens all on its own.
You always want to opt for a fattier cut.
Fat's very important.
Try to keep a 1-to-1 ratio between fat and protein. If you feel like your meal needs more fat, then add more fat. If you feel like it's too fatty, then add less fat next time.
Just listen to your body. That is the best gauge. There is no perfect fat to protein ratio. If anyone tells you this is the perfect fat to protein ratio, they don't know what they're talking about. Every single one of us is different. Our lifestyle, our diet, when we get up, when we eat, how many meals we eat, all of this kind of stuff. Listen to your body. It will tell you if you're eating too much fat.
One of the common causes of loose stools in carnivore is way more fat than your body can absorb.
There you go.
Just pull it back. Just pull back the fat. It can also be because people still drink coffee. These things cause diarrhea. Plain.
It's a diuretic.
Simple.
Eat the highest quality meat that you can afford. As the weeks go on, convert to a 2 meals a day strategy. Some carnivores will wind up just eating one very large meal a day.
I eat once or twice. I don't feel like any human being should be eating more than 3 times a day. That's absolutely absurd. And I don't think we should be snacking in between. Do 1 or 2 meals. I think men do better on 1 or 2. Women seem to do better on 2 or 3. Don't consume any more meals than that. It is totally just going against what your body really wants.
The Paleolithic being ate maybe once a day. And you should be fasting and feasting as well. There's a wisdom in that. And that wisdom is the physiology.
Don't forget about eggs. Don't forget about seafood. Don't forget about liver.
I think a lot of people assume that you need to consume a load of organ meats. You don't even need to touch organs if you don't want to. But I do feel like people forget about seafood, and there's a lot of food variety in the ocean.
I want to get too many organs because they're much more nutrient dense than muscle meat, which has everything you need. Remember how many hundreds of pounds of muscle and fat a cow is going to have to every 1 pound of liver, okay?
Exactly. When you see people online just eating liver every time they're eating, it's like, you're overdoing it. You're getting way too much copper. There's just no need, and there's no need to force feed yourself liver just because you've seen other carnivores eat raw liver. It's not something I really crave anymore, and I think it's because I'm replete with nutrition. I have everything I need.
It's not going to be a lot of liver every day, so don't overdo it.
Red meat and eggs are absolute winners.
Cook in animal fats. Use plenty of salt in your diet. Salt is not bad for you, it's good for you. This is very, very important to help fight the carbohydrate withdrawal symptoms.
Because you are a sugar junkie.
Salt to taste, but also to give your body enough sodium and chloride, both of which your body needs on a daily basis in order to function optimally.
It will help keep your stomach nice and acidic so you can break down your food and absorb the nutrition in it.
Having a good source of electrolytes and minerals is going to help you with the carbohydrate withdrawal symptoms that you'll probably experience.
That's because you're a junkie.
Sugar is highly addictive and it acts the same parts of the brain as cocaine and heroin and so on.
Carbohydrates are made of glucose.
Many people...
Well, a lot of them. You know, you've got fructose as well, think about fruits. But all these sugars found in foods, they're all non-essential. We don't need them, and they're very, very addictive. If you say you don't have a sweet tooth, but you have loads of potatoes or fries or cereal, then you're eating loads of sugar, I'm afraid.
Many people worry about vitamin C deficiency, scurvy on a carnivore diet.
No one's gotten scurvy. I mean, this is one of these things that...
We know there is vitamin C in meat. In the Napoleonic Wars, they used to use the raw horse meat from the horses that were killed in battle to cure scurvy. And this has been known for almost 200 years, that meat has been described as an antiscorbutic, an agent that will cure scurvy.
There's clearly vitamin C in meat because I'm standing here talking to you.
Having high LDL cholesterol levels, isn't that a problem?
First of all, LDL is not cholesterol. There's no such thing as LDL cholesterol. There is just cholesterol, and the LDL is a low-density lipoprotein that carries that cholesterol around in our blood, among other things, for good reason.
We know that this whole business about the saturated fats in the diet being bad for us is just complete bunkum.
We know it, yet people still sort of push this weird narrative like, oh, it's going to give you a heart attack or cause cancer. Saturated fats and cholesterol are so bad for you. They cause diabetes. That's the funniest one. Like, what on earth are you talking about? But if that was the case, then again, why are we here talking about it? We're here because of what our ancestors did. What did they do? They ate mostly fatty red meat and other animal sources of nutrition containing saturated fats and cholesterol. So again, we need to just get that out of our heads.
Recent meta-analysis looking at all-cause mortality, so your chance of dying and your LDL levels, they actually found that there was an inverse relationship. That is, the higher your LDL level, the longer you lived. If that doesn't immediately make you suspicious of our fear of LDL, then I don't know what will.
And just human history, just brush up on your history. We ate a lot of this stuff and we're here talking about it.
When LDL gets damaged through a process called glycation, where sugar attaches to it, and it can be damaged through a process called oxidation. If you want to make sure that your LDL population remains healthy, don't have excessive amounts of vegetable and seed oils, and don't have excessive amounts of carbohydrate.
Notice how Paul said, if you want to keep your LDL population healthy, he didn't talk about the numbers. How high or low? If you want to lower your LDL. No, you don't want to lower your LDL. Your body's a genius. Stop getting in its way.
Eating fibre necessary for intestinal health?
Fiber is another one. You know, we've got to have fiber. Fiber is essential. If we don't have fiber, our colon's going to fall out.
Had my entire colon removed because I ate mostly plants containing fibre. I had lots and lots of fibre, whole grains, nuts, seeds, legumes, lots of balance, lots of colours. Colon had to be removed because it was going to kill me. So no, we don't need non-essential, indigestible, gas-promoting, nutrient-blocking fibre.
Fiber-loving bacteria got to revolt. It just doesn't happen.
One only ever has to change the nappy of a breastfed infant to know that you don't need to consume fibre to open your bowels.
What makes me laugh is that a lot of people that transition into a carnivore diet, just overnight, accommodating more fat than they used to, they have diarrhea. So it's so obvious that we don't need fibre to open our bowels. Fibre is just indigestible. The more of that you eat, the more gut problems and gas problems you'll have. And methane exacerbates constipation. So if you're eating loads of fibre, you're producing methane. It's so counterintuitive.
The people that had the most fiber, the most bowel movements, had the highest incidence of diverticulosis.
They had 63 subjects who all had constipation, and they trialled them on various types of diet, ranging from zero fibre diet all the way up to very, very high fibre diets. Where they had zero fibre diets, the subjects were advised to eliminate all vegetables, fruit, cereals, whole grain bread and brown rice. And all 41 subjects who went on that zero fibre diet had complete resolution of all of their symptoms of constipation.
And to quote Paul Mason, I think he said something like, "Oh, I didn't just forget to put something in." They took the patients off of all of the fibre, all their problems went away. That's kind of hard to ignore, isn't it?
This was pain, bleeding, bloating, strain opening their bowels. So the best evidence we actually have is that fibre actually exacerbates symptoms of constipation.
Kind of makes sense. Stuff that we can't break down and absorb. It's not a nutrient that's assimilated into the bloodstream. You would think that would stodge you up and clog you up and block you up, and that's kind of what it does. People that say, "Oh no, not me, I get constipation without it, and I have to eat fibre and then I'll have a bowel movement." It's like, what happens, because I can tell you 100%, some of the fibre is fast-tracked because it's not assimilated, it's not broken down, so it just hurries through your digestive tract, right, and hits your colon. Then whatever else you ate is kind of going to be mixed with some fibre, comes out, and then the last thing that comes out is loads of fibre, just all this fibre crap. So now, at that point, that's when you're kind of getting blocked up. And most people think, "Oh, well, I'll just have some all-bran cereal or something like that, a load of roughage," and then, of course, that will push it through, but you're having problems emptying the fibre from your digestive tract, mostly your colon. But if you were patient enough and you cleared your body of fibre, for example, you transitioned slowly and went into a carnivore diet, your digestion gets better because you haven't got fibre, which is indigestible, getting in the way.
So if we say there's an essential plant, I challenge you to point out, tell me which one is it. What plant was growing everywhere, all year long, in all climates and all seasons? When we say, there's superfoods, there's these plants we have to have, I can't think of one. If somebody tells me...
Well, it's because they factually don't exist. There are no essential plants, carbohydrates, fibres, or polyphenols. Zero. Fact.
Blueberries are necessary for me to survive. I'm going to say, where do you get blueberries in January in Alaska or, northern Canada? They're just not there.
Saturated fats are good for us, and the polyunsaturated fats, which are found in vegetable and seed oils, are actually quite dangerous. So the American College of Cardiology published this state-of-the-art review on saturated fat consumption, and after a complete analysis of all the literature, they've actually concluded that we should freely consume meat, eggs, and dairy.
Can you imagine approaching someone in a tribe, just out there in the wild? "Oh, by the way, guys, you can freely consume meat and fish and eggs." They'd be like, "Yeah, we know, we're already doing that. What are you talking about?"
And not worry about the saturated fat. This is an organisation that used to be heavily in favour of controlling fats in the diet and going on low-fat diets. So this is actually something of a watershed movement.
You are told that the brain is an obligate glucose utilizer. It's absolutely wrong. There was a study done in Britain. What they did is that they brought the blood sugar down to 30, but they pumped the patient full of ketones. And they were all sitting and talking and having fun and not a sweat. The only one that was sweating was the doctors. The brain can utilize ketones, and the brain likes it.
My brain absolutely loves it. I was miserable and depressed. Took out the plants, the carbohydrates, only ate fatty red meat and other animal sources of nutrition. I'm no longer depressed. Cognition has improved dramatically. I can articulate and think properly. It's a game changer.
When the brain utilizes the ketones, it actually is a cleaner burn. It burns more cleanly. When you go and take a candy or an energy bar, you suddenly feel great. You just got your high. You just took a shot that boosted your brain's dopamine levels and you went to the reward center. That's why you felt good. This has been...
You feel good for seconds, maybe minutes. Try Carnivore. Your life is good. You don't have to worry about pinning your joy on the few moments that you experience eating that chocolate bar or that candy or that sweet. Get rid of that out your life. Really and truly live. And you can do this when you're eating proper human sources of nutrition.
Shown in animals, in human beings, clearly there's no biochemical change going on. None whatsoever. It's all in here. It's mental. It's your craving. I'm going to use up my glycogen stores. How am I going to feel? I'm going to feel okay unless I'm a junkie.
This is why people in nutritional ketosis find it so much easier to fast, because you're tapped into your fats for fuel, so you're not thinking about your next fix, or you're not craving glucose after you crash, or even just fruits and fruit juices and things like that. Again, it's all in your head. Absolutely. But once you are in nutritional ketosis and once down the line you're truly fat adapted, you're plain sailing, and honestly that is the way to go.
Then I'm going to want to eat. That's junkiness. Because your sugar will never drop. I'm going to say that again.
Your sugar will never drop.
Well, I mean, it does come down, but you just won't become hypoglycemic. I think he basically alludes to this right afterwards.
You can fast for 7 days, your blood sugar will come down, but you will not become hypoglycemic and have an attack unless you're on insulin or you're taking diabetes medications.
There you go, that's the nuance there, and this is often the case with people with type 1 diabetes. For example, they will get ketoacidosis if they don't manage their insulin properly, because there's a risk there of the glucose staying in the blood. The cells aren't receiving glucose, the body's like, oh, I'm starving. It starts to produce ketone bodies, and now there's ketones and glucose in the blood, and that can change your body's pH, so that's a different scenario altogether. But this is why nuance is so important.
Why the low-carb diet has taken off is because people try it, and you saw the guy who lost 85 kilograms. You think he thinks the old diet was good? No,
Unless I'm a junkie.
Once you do it and you change, you realize, my gosh, how could I have done this for so long without realizing I was killing myself?
Hi again, it's Dr. Gymnatis.
I'm Dr. Eric Westman.
Hi, it's Dr. Chafee again.
My name is Professor Tim Noakes.
I'm Dr. Ken Berry, a family physician.
Hey folks, Dr. Sean Baker here again.
I'm Dr. Paul Mason.
And I'm Lee Copus, aka Kent Carnivore. Subscribe to the channel, like, drop a comment, and share far and wide, certainly with people that are going carnivore or they're quite new, they don't understand some of the facets, some of the nuance that people often query.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys. Talk to you later.